And we're live. Hey, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Thanks for being here with us. Hope y'all are doing well today. Hope you've had some time to get out in the sun if you got some sun, or just get outside if you got some time. And we've got Toni here as well. Thanks for joining us, Toni. Appreciate you being here as always.
Well, happy to be here. You're quiet, so I guess I better introduce myself. Okay, all my health knowledge that I acquired the last few years all came from Dr. Morse. So my appreciation always goes out to him. I wish I had. Well, I would do great, I think, with only 10% of his knowledge, but I'm getting there over time. He is absolutely totally amazing and has helped so many people all over the world, and also trains and certifies healers. And I could not have gone this route without him. And I do feel my 8 years of being pretty sick actually led me to what I am doing right now. So it was for a reason that I had been as sick as I was. And I can actually only, I feel blessed, to be honest. And it gets me to talk to so many beautiful people. And we're all on the same path. We all want to learn more about how we can regain our health, realizing how we have been completely fooled by what we were supposed to eat. And yeah, right now when I see something, it's like, oh, but you absolutely need this, and I see this 100 times over everywhere, and it's like, I think I need to go the other route. Because no, we need to keep things simple. And yeah, eating healthier is actually as simple as incorporate more fruit and eat less junk. So when I answer the questions in email, I usually start with eliminate the meat, the dairy, and of course not only just the meat. It's chicken, poultry, it's fish, the dairy, the eggs, the cooked foods eventually, and anything that where you have to read a package to see what the ingredients are that you can't even pronounce, let alone know what the heck it is. So that is where we start. And the funny thing I was just thinking today is like we get so many different questions with different problems people have. And in a way, the answer is always the same. Change your diet. Start detoxing. Now, I know the word detox, it's kind of, oh, I can do a 3-day detox or do a 6-day or 1 month, or that's not the way it works. It's you work yourself up to well, we call it like a transition up to mostly fruits, and do it slow and make it an yeah, it's a lifestyle. It's not. I think diet is such an odd word. If you look at the magazines, any magazines, and especially after Christmas or after any holiday, it's all about diet this and diet that. And it's like we need to learn that it's just about a lifestyle change. That's
Right.
it.
Yeah, when you brought up good points on, you sort of discovering Dr. Morse and being brought onto this healing path because of your illness, and how that's really a blessing in disguise. And that's that perfect example of the eucatastrophe that we all experience at some point or another, and sometimes we experience multiple of them, where we hit that rock bottom point where, like, whatever it takes for us to snap out of our our lack of awareness and decide, you know what, I'm going to do better. I want to right the ship. I want to change trajectory. I want to move the other direction. And that's what we're collectively going through as a whole, where we hit the rock bottom and we've decided to turn around. And so that, this show is health focused, and very much so. It's, I see a lot of people hitting that rock bottom with their health and saying, you know what, I'm going to take my health back into my own hands, decide to do differently. I'm not going to buy this narrative that I have to be sick for the rest of my days and have to be on all these medications and have to listen to all these doctors and pay all this money. I'm going to take ownership of it, and it's so empowering when we do that. But we needed to go through that eucatastrophe, that rock bottom moment, so that we could, kind of be jolted awake. So it is a blessing, and it's beautiful to see it that way. So just wanted to comment on that. And then as far as I had someone speak to me the other day and ask what a good starting point is to transitioning into this diet. And Toni mentioned a few things about, eliminating meat, dairy, and eggs. And a big one that she mentioned is just getting away from anything with an ingredient list. If you go to a Whole Foods entirely, even if you're still cooking, just make sure you cook with whole foods. Make sure nothing that you're using has an ingredients list to it, and you will be miles, 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 and miles better than you were before. So that's just a great starting point, is to get to those whole foods. Make sure it grows out of the ground, and nothing else has been done to it in the meantime, or mixed in with it. So yeah, just those are two things that came up.
I was just thinking about, there is a young woman who is very close to my heart, who had learned from a YouTube or whatever video channel, about not eating all those bad foods. So she started on eating mostly green salads, not knowing anything about the fruits and how it can help us. And I see that a lot in many videos they have no idea about being a fruitarian or frugivore and what it can do to our body. So they go a different route and get very, very, very underweight. To a point that it's actually dangerous for the health. So you can go the wrong way too by thinking that you are eating healthy, and it is so, what is it, like one-sided, maybe there's another word for it, where you just focus on leaving everything out that you think is bad for you. And it's always the fruit that's being left out because it has too much sugar.
Right.
And not realizing it is the sugar that we live on. It's a sugar that makes us being alive. It's what we need. And so it's really sad to see even under the vegans, which is not necessarily the healthiest diet, see so much misinformation.
Yeah, truly. I mean, it's that's why they can't let the truth get out there. And so one of the most effective ways of keeping the truth at bay is to muddy the waters with disinformation. And so they've done a pretty good job at distracting us with all sorts of other things, like the keto diet and whatever else. There's a lot out there. It's hard to weed through, but that's why when we get really simple, and the truth is always really simple, and you look at a fruit tree, that's the simplest thing that you can possibly see. It's just this abundant, growing, beautiful food source that's perpetually giving us everything that we need. There's no harm involved. It's just dropping what we need. So, and we are designed for that. Our hands are designed to grab it. Our teeth are designed to eat it. Our body is designed to digest it. It is the simple truth of it, and we just have to get back to
that. The last question that you sent to me is about honey from Mike. And he is 80% fruit since Easter, with a few setbacks, usually family food. Yeah, we all deal with that. He writes, one thing I have to figure out is if I have a tablespoon of honey, about 5 hours later, I get a bad headache. I used local, but also tried Orange Blossom and other brands. Same thing happens. What can cause this? I don't exactly know how that works. He mentioned, could it be parasites that eat sugar releasing toxins? Possibly, but on the other hand, when you are on high fruit, the beauty is that your body starts to reject foods.
Hmm.
And sometimes it's not even logic. Like, I thought it was a healthy food. Yeah, maybe, but not for you. And at any time, I learned that at any time that my body rejects something, it's like, oh, okay, it's not meant for me. I'm not analyzing it. It's just the body telling, nope, you're not supposed to use that. Because even when you know exactly what can cause it, what would you do about it? You always have to go the route of even when you start your detox, you have to go the route of eliminating the parasites too. You go through the general parasite, the microorganisms, which thanks to every junk that is around us is everywhere, air, water, wherever, and that needs to get out of the body. The other thing is that it's not only the parasites, but once you got to a point in your lifestyle change that you can say, okay, I'm well hydrated, and I've been on fruit, so now it's time to clean out the GI tract. And I think we all have a story about that. But it is so important so that your body can completely heal,
Mm.
and that you don't have any allergies, which is what Mike mentioned here. And allergies actually go away. All these things go away once you start cleaning out your body. But the GI tract is a part that most people seem to forget, and it is rather important for your overall healing. And yeah, get the kidneys to filter and help your adrenals. And I heard Dr. Morse say something that even after all these years, I was not aware of it. I don't know if I should be embarrassed about it or not. He says when you help your adrenals, it will help your kidneys to filter. And I had not
Mm.
thought of that. And the things that show that we have weak adrenals is one of the things is anxiety. It's not sleeping well. It can be many things, and you can actually see it when you take your blood pressure. It should be 120 over 60. If you have, like what I read from someone who has a 90 over 55, yeah, your adrenals need a little help.
Mm.
And this is the easiest way that you actually know how your adrenals are doing. And with your kidneys is if they are not filtering, and somebody asked about that. Let me see where I have that question. Well, it was actually about how can you get your kidneys to filter.
I think that was also Mike. He asked that at the bottom.
Oh, was that?
If you have
Oh,
time,
yeah. If you have any more tips, how to get the kidneys to filter, not getting sediment yet, that can be if you're what was it? You were 80% fruit, so I have to assume that 20% is greens. Hopefully, the dark green leafy greens. You can help your kidneys by castor oil packs on the kidneys. Um, oh, I'm drawing a blank all of a sudden. I had a few more, a few more tips.
Well, why you think I can throw some out there. So dry fasting is a great way to
Yeah, of course.
get the kidneys filtering. So just starting slow, doing 12 hours. I do 12 hours every day. So I just make sure I have a window, I add on to before and after I sleep. So where I'm sleeping, and then I add on a few more hours to where I'm not consuming any fluid or liquid. This is helpful to get the kidneys moving. You can do you can work on longer dry fasts than that. Just make sure you take it slow and don't do anything too hasty. Just fill your body out, but you can go longer than that. Um, and then another one is rebounding. Rebounding, getting the lymphatic system moving. So we've talked about it before, but just going on the grass and jumping barefoot on the ground is a great way to have a little rebound without having to buy one of those trampolines. So that's a great way. And then there's also dry brushing to sort of help get things moving. moving things around, so getting a lymphatic massage or dry brushing, and you want to always be brushing towards the lymph nodes, right?
Yeah, not towards the heart.
Yeah, towards
Now,
the
there
heart.
is something to be said about getting the lymph moving. You have to be careful not to do that when your kidneys are not filtering.
Okay.
So you can do a little. I have been super active. This is a few years ago. I was super active with my rebounder because I thought that would help. And as sick as I was, and oh my God, my legs were hurting so bad, and I was getting these bump on my legs, and I could not figure out what it was. Now I know that it was stagnated lymph. Couldn't go anywhere because my kidneys were definitely not filtering then. So it is the dry brushing is we wait until the kidneys are filtering, even if it is just a little sediment. It doesn't have to be like all these images that you see. It doesn't have to be like that. It's just a little bit. You pee in a glass jar, you let it sit for up to 6 hours, not longer, because it starts to ferment. And then you think you have sediment and it's not really sediment. And but even little bits, then that's a start. You can do a little what is it, get a little bit like the stagnated lymph in your head by doing cold and hot and cold packs. And this is something that I recently learned about because I didn't even know, and because I have personally so many problems with getting my kidneys to filter. That was a tip that was given to me, and I have it in a beautiful file that explains it exactly how to do that. And when you do the cold packs, cold hot packs, start with cold, end with cold, and you can do it in the back of your neck, and that helps a little with the lymph stagnation in your head, because I think 99% of us have an issue with that. So that was one thing. So yeah, with the dry brushing and the rebounding, that is careful. It can cause pain, especially for people who have cyst or cancer. Then kidneys filtering is the first thing. And well, now we know that at the same time you take care of the kidneys, you have to take care of the adrenals, and that actually can be done with some herbal formulas that we have. And yeah, I can't say I am selling herbal formulas because I don't. As a Dr. Morse practitioner, he gives us a discount so we can order it for our clients. And I just give half of the discount he gives me. I give it to people who ever want to order his stuff. So there's a 15% discount. And I write personalized protocols, herbal protocols. So if you are in need of that, you want to take the extra step because you feel that with diet alone, you're not getting there, then that would be the next step. But it is always diet first. It's always about the food that you put in your body.
Yep.
Now, do you have anything to add to that, Justin?
I don't think so. Yeah,
Okay.
that covered it pretty extensively.
Now we go on to the next one, and that is
Oh, I did one comment about honey in general, because that was the first part of that question about consuming honey. Like I know Charlie's talked about they still eat honey. I still have honey occasionally, but it is something to be considered. It's not necessarily it's not fruit sugar. It's not going to be as easily assimilated into our body as fruit sugar. It's a very dense substance, and the fact that it never decays is kind of to me, an indicator that it's not going to break down very easily in our body as well. So it's very dense. So it might just be, Mike, that your body is reacting to a very dense substance that it can't process very well. And then there's the whole issue of like, is the honey necessarily 100% ethical? That people have a lot of concerns with as well. So that's just some more factors to consider. And if honey's bothering you, then just cut it out. Like there's no need for it. There's no there's nothing that you gain from consuming honey. So if it's bothering you, I just would cut it out.
Yeah, thank you for adding that. We did need to hear that. There is on the whole honey industry. If you knew what was going on, it's absolutely horrendous. And even when you would get organic honey, now there are some beekeepers who say they do it in an ethical way. They leave enough honey for the bees to survive and only take what can be taken, but it still doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
And I have used a lot of honey in the past. I started to dislike it, and I think it has more. It doesn't have to do with the taste, but more with no, it's not right to take that food
Right.
from the bees. It's not
Right.
our food.
Mm-hmm.
Our food is fruits. And it is, if you want something sweet, I mean, a lot of people use maple syrup. I know I do because I like it so much.
Mm.
And I add a little bit to my lemon water that I make in the morning and drink throughout the day. But if you would look up, there's a video about maple syrup, how extremely processed that is. You don't want to use it anymore.
Mm.
So now there is another way, another very sweet thing for some people, even too sweet, but you can add water to it. It's dates.
Mm-hmm.
Have a date, put dates and some water in the blender and blend it until you have like a syrup. You can use it on wherever you want to use it on.
Mm-hmm.
Best is always the fruits, or you just use it as it is. Or if you want to sweeten some herbal tea, that is the safest one that you can use and the healthiest one. So I would definitely check that out. And then there is actually date sugar, which
Mm.
you can get by I haven't looked into how they make that, but I would think that if you make your own date syrup and then you put it in the what is
Dehydrator.
it? Yeah, in the dehydrator, you would get like a sugar.
Yeah. Yeah. Dates are great. I'd second that. That's what I use to sweeten up any sauces or anything whenever I'm making stuff. So that's a great way to go.
There is a question about, can a type 1 diabetic reverse and heal? Short answer is yes, absolutely. There is something to it, and it all depends on, because that was another question that I had from, I think it was last week. It was about how long is somebody on insulin? And the longer you are on insulin, the tougher it will get. There's no doubt about it. But when I talk about tough, then I talk about people who have been on insulin for 30 plus years. And there is a wonderful, amazing lady who worked very close with Dr. Morse, who is a diabetic. And I even on my channel, I have an interview with her. And she is a type 1 diabetic. She never got 100% off the insulin. And, after 30 plus years, it just is what it is. But she is on so much less insulin. But if you are only on insulin for a few years, yeah, I mean, go on all fruit and you have to keep checking and never, ever just stop cold turkey your insulin, because that won't be a good thing.
Mm.
So I do have to let you know that it's always keep an eye on what your sugar levels are, what your readings are. And if you can go with less insulin over time, that's just the way to do it. And like with diabetic, if it's 1 or 2, you always have to look at if you can do all fruit. I'm a type 2 diabetic. I became that after I had my immigration vaccines. Before, my whole life, I never had a problem, but I had more issues after that. When I am on 100% fruit, my readings are totally amazing. If I have the nerve to add anything that is fat, that's again the avocados or tahini or any hemp seeds, it's all fats. they go right up. So it is the all fruit that will heal your body, and your body can heal anything. But be careful with stopping insulin.
Yeah, just take it slow. Just take it slow and yeah, feel your body and yeah, try and wean off of it. It's like coffee, you know, not quite as a severe thing to wean off of, but if someone's got a severe coffee addiction, you know, you just wean off it slowly and take less and less as you go.
Yeah, I stopped it all at once and I had a terrible headache for a week.
Yeah,
Then I
you
was
do that
over
too.
it.
You do that too. It's a powerful reminder of how addicting it is, that headache.
Yeah, and you know what? After a year or something, I had a cup of coffee, and even the coffee gave me a headache. So now it was like, okay, I'm done. I'm not going to do that again. And you get to a point, I don't even like the smell anymore.
Mm.
Now, there was a question last week, which I finally actually personally answered to the person, but I want to let them know for anybody who lives in this area and is looking for a holistic dentist to actually understand Dr. Morse's teachings. So I heard back from I think it was Maria at Dr. Morse's clinic, and I do have a dentist. And this is Panther Hollow Dental Lodge in Port Charlotte. And this is Dr. Morse's dentist.
Cool.
So if you live anywhere, I think it's worth it, even if you would have to drive a few hours, you know, if it's worth it to go to the right dentist. My gosh, I only know horror stories from my first dentist and on and on. It was never good.
Yeah. And the best part is once you get fully on the fruit, you're not going to ever need a dentist again.
No, you don't. And all these things about like you have to floss after every meal.
Wrong.
You're just hurting your mouth. You're hurting your gums.
Mm-hmm.
And it is also that everything has to do with the acidity in your body. It doesn't matter what problem you have, it is always the acidity in your body. And you can wonder sometimes, why are even babies born with all these problems? And yeah, they grew in their mother's belly, who wasn't too healthy.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of sad that you now have to get to a point. It's like, you know, be on fruit for a few years before you even consider having a child, so you can put a healthy child
Right.
on this world. Okay, I didn't have that many questions again. Oh yeah, this is one close to me, psoriasis. My gosh, isn't that horrible? When I got to 16 years ago, it started on my head, and I got to a point that I was shedding. I was leaving my DNA behind pretty much wherever I was going, and I got to the point I'm not going anywhere anymore. It was horrible. And it still didn't clear up 100%. I still have some spots, but I had psoriasis as bad as over 80% of my body. It was really, really terrible. And Roseanne mentions it, that it does clear up for a while, and that she had stopped gluten and dairy and all meats except for fish. You may want to stop that too. And that you got on a load of healthy supplements like nettle, cat's claw, B12, ashwagandha, spirulina, barley grass juice powder, zinc, magnesium, glycinate, lysine, MSM, and a few more to try and clean out the liver. The best advice that I can give you: don't take any supplements. If you want to take nettle, cat's claw, ashwagandha, spirulina, great. Leave all the other stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
It is not healthy. It is hurting your body. It's you try to clean out the liver, and it's actually hurting the liver. Eating very clean organic food, I always have an issue when I'm told it's like clean organic food. I'm not sure what that means. because there is a lot of clean organic food. And oh my gosh, I know I ate it. I thought I was healthy and it wasn't. And I like this. He says, I'm 56 and I feel like 36. People think I'm younger all the time. So yeah, exactly. You're correct. You know, you're doing something right. You are well off on your way to heal yourself, but get rid of the all the supplements because those are not healthy. Herbs, yeah, I can see that would help, but not all the other things. You don't need them. Give your body more fruit, and your body knows what to do with it, and you get what you need. It's always more fruit and less, of course, of the yeah. I hate to say it that way because it sounds a little like not nice if I say the so-called clean organic food. Better, you do better on all. That's another thing. You do better on all raw and very little fats and absolutely very little proteins. Even the plant proteins. Be careful with that because it's not helping you heal. Do you want to talk to me ever about the psoriasis? Connect with me.
Mm.
It's I can tell you a little bit more about what to do. And it's diet is, like I said before, diet is always first. Well, I think I always say that.
Mm.
But the herbs can help you, speed it up a little.
Yeah,
Skin
for sure.
problems is always high acidity. It's your kidneys are not filtering, and your skin being your third kidney, it comes out through the skin. And I hear from people where it comes out through eyes, ears, navel. It's you can have, even when you start on all fruit, that is the interesting part. When you start on all fruit, it's like, oh my gosh, now I have eczema and I have a spot here and a spot there. Yeah. What fruit does, it brings the weaknesses out in your body and it goes away again. So that's the beauty of it. Just give it time.
Yep.
It's not that your health is getting worse. It's not. Nobody ever died from eating fruit. It's,
No.
it doesn't happen.
Yeah, we just have to acclimate. We got to remember that we're coming from a lifetime of poisoning our body. So it's going to take some time and healing to get back to a space of stasis.
Yeah, and okay, I had another question from Sue, and I think I'm already in connecting with Sue. She wondered if there are any herbs to clean out mucus for the thyroid. My body is going against my thyroid and Hashimoto disease. Are there any herbs to help clean it up? The thing with mucus, it's stagnated. It's also stagnated lymph, and yeah, your thyroid may need help. But again, we get to don't use the herbs as a treatment. It's not like you can eat whatever you want to eat and use some herbs, the supplements. People call the herbs sometimes supplements too. It is not the herbs that will clean it out. It is what you eat, diet again, and it can definitely help your thyroid too. And it depends if you are hyper or hypo. There are different ways to help it, but always start with the diet. Am I repeating myself? Gosh. No, it's not that I don't want to be it almost sounds like I mean, whatever you do, start with the diets. But that's it is so easy. And
Yep.
we make it so difficult. And we believe so in diseases as oh yeah, the doctor said my body is now attacking my well, it could be my thyroid, autoimmune disease. How did they come up with that word?
Right.
And it's absolutely crazy. Your body doesn't attack anything. It's just not happening. It's not how the body works. We were once still actually made 100% the way everything should work. But over the many, many years, it's, yeah. Don't know what to say about that anymore. I have again, there is one question that always comes up, and that is the germ theory.
Oh, yeah.
So I have this, and I think we spoke about that a few weeks ago, and that I offered people, I can send you the file. That is it is about the germ theory. And there are a lot of people who have made a comment about what it is. And I have them all in a file that explains exactly all the diseases that we think are diseases, but it explains germs. And there is one that I will read to you. It's about a Dr. Robert R. Gross. And he says, germs do not cause disease. Nature never surrounded her children with enemies. It is the individual himself who makes disease possible in his own body because of poor living habits. Do mosquitoes make the water stagnant, or does stagnant water attract the mosquitoes? We should all be taught that germs are friends and scavengers attracted by disease rather than enemies causing disease. As their internal environment is, so will be the attraction for any specific microorganism. The germ theory and vaccination are kept going by commercialism. That was one that stood out because it is such a simple explanation.
I like that with the mosquitoes. Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to, if anybody wants to have this file, I will send it to them, because I think it is it has so much information.
Yeah, will you send that to me as well? Because I've had
of
some people
course,
ask.
of course.
I'd love to read it.
I probably got this. There is on Facebook a group, and I just love what I'm reading there. And it is the terrain model. It's not the terrain is not a theory, but is the terrain model versus the germ theory, because the whole germ thing is still a theory. And didn't Charlie recently had a very interesting post about that with Beauchamp, who was actually the one who discovered what it really was, and he was put back for what's his name, Pasteur. Do you remember that one?
No, I don't think I saw that one.
Yeah, it is. Well, of course, he had it in. Now, of course, now I have to find it. Because I thought it was absolutely amazing that at a time that I was looking into this, he was posting this. So,
it's funny how that works.
Yeah, that's indeed how it works. Let me do a quick search. And it explains in so many ways all that nonsense about all these diseases. And see if I can find it by just put in germ. No, it didn't.
Oh, yes, I found it. Pierre Beauchamp and versus Louis Pasteur. That one.
Yeah.
I found it.
Okay, now can you read it to us? I think it is important.
Yeah. So Pierre Beauchamp versus Louis Pasteur, God versus the devil. Why is it that you've never heard of French scientist Pierre Beauchamp, but everyone knows of Louis Pasteur? Here's the quick explanation. Beauchamp said that a healthy body was immune to all disease because germs could not gain footing inside of healthy cells and tissues. Beauchamp encouraged eating living foods and said the rest, relaxation, and meditation were keys to keeping the body healthy. Beauchamp championed the ancient belief, a healthy mind, a healthy body, no need for things like vaccination. But all of this gnosis from Beauchamp has been hidden for months under the shadow from the cabal stooge Louis Pasteur, who proliferated the reign of terror via germs and the need for pasteurizing our beverages because living food is dangerous to us and that we must consume death to be healthy, which is a gateway to vaccination. I'm not a scientist, but me thinks Louis Pasteur was a fucking liar. How about you? Have we been lied to about what food actually is? Me thinks so. Oh, and good luck doing lots of research about Pierre Beauchamp. Learning about his true work isn't the easiest task to accomplish. Now I wonder why that is. Charlie Freak.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I did see that one. That was a good one.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
I can suggest anyone to look for that group on Facebook if you're still on Facebook. By the way, they're also on MeWe. I think actually under the same name. And I have that file, the germ theory, actually from there.
Oh, nice.
I think her name is Lauren Whitman, who does a lot of things. I remember that she is also a Dr. Morse practitioner, but I'm not 100% sure. But they do have a lot of great information. Yeah, okay. On MeWe, it is the Terrain Model Refutes Germ Theory. That is probably the same name on Facebook. And Dr. Shelton is also one who wrote about this. And this goes back to the early 1900s, late 1800s even. It's actually, I see here, a meme that was made from Florence Nightingale. The specific disease doctrine is the ground refutes of weak, uncultured, unstable minds, such as now rule in the medical profession. There are no specific diseases, there are specific disease conditions. Dr. Morse always says there are no diseases, there are symptoms.
Right.
Same difference.
And just look at the word when your body's not at ease. What is ease? Alkalinity is ease. When we consume fruit, that is the ease, the easiest thing to digest. And when we are not at ease, then we are diseased. And that's when all the problems emerge. So just put yourself at ease. Take the load off, eat the fruit, be still, silent, meditate. All makes sense.
Yeah. I just see something that you posted about how monkeys are eating sugarcane, eating all or just getting the sugar. I have a sugarcane in my yard. I was giving a piece, and she said, just put it, hack it in pieces, put it in the soil, and you will have sugarcane. That is how easily it grows. The only thing is, you need a special device to actually get the
juice.
Yeah, the juice out, and I don't have that, so I just let it grow. It's pretty.
They're pretty tough.
It's actually pretty, but you can just chew on it, like same as what the monkeys do. And although the white sugar and even the brown sugar that is sold as the sugar cane and sugar, or the cane sugar, as being healthy, it's so heavily processed. It's not, it takes stuff out. But on Dr. Morse's classes, they were actually selling the sugarcane juice. It has an odd taste, but it's very refreshing. You have to get used to it. We could actually buy it here on the farmer's market.
Yeah, I've heard mixing sugarcane juice and lime juice together is a great Sprite alternative for kids.
Well, that's a good one, but it's not that easy to get because, it gets bad really fast. It's not like, I make it today, I can drink it tomorrow, even if you keep it in the fridge. You can't. It's something that you have to use right away. Now, there is something that a lot of people on fruit are not that healthy yet, and struggle still with anxiety, with thinness, with extreme weight loss. And we do have to realize that there is a time for a heavy detox and a time for regeneration. Now, I know that some say that you shouldn't go back once you are detoxing because you get that yo-yoing effect. But on the other hand, what Dr. Morse teaches us, you detox and you regenerate. You regenerate with more greens. There are these fruit and more greens. It doesn't mean that you do that with going back to cooked foods and such. But definitely adding more greens, which means also more minerals in your diet. So I think that is important to be aware of. It's not like, okay, I do this for the rest of my life, because I don't know if it's maybe because we are as sick as we are. And I hate to say that, like we are sick, because I don't want to see myself as sick. That's another word I don't like.
Mm.
Can we figure out another word? We are not at ease with our body.
Yeah, we're unwell.
Yeah, what words can do. Now, I realized the enormous effect of our mental state, and when you start detoxing, it definitely it works on your emotions too. You're not only detoxing your body, but it goes back into so many different things, and it's different for everybody. But there is an emotional detox too, and that is not always the easy part. What is your experience with that?
Yeah, I mean we've got to remember that we've been poisoning our body for our whole lives. So when we start this detox process, it is going to bring on some big changes, and weight loss is a big one. And that's the alarming factor when people lose a lot of weight all at once. And but you have to look at it like our toxins are held in our fat cells, they're held in our muscles, they're held in our tissue all over the place. So in order to fully detox, we kind of have to go down to that base level. And this is where it gets into this really important factor of trusting that this is the right way to be, trusting in God, that God provided this perfect food for us to consume, that it's not going to hurt us, it's not going to ultimately do anything wrong for us. So any step in the process is just going to be getting us onto that right direction. So you might go through a period where you are quite thin, and that's getting to that base level so that you can build your foundation and then start regenerating from there, so that you're not building onto toxic layers of tissue. You've got a clean body from the ground up. So that's kind of how I conceptualize it. It's just getting rid of all the toxic layers in between, and then starting from square one so that we can build a healthy body from the ground up.
Yeah, the emotional part also comes from the weak adrenals. And I almost forgot, there were questions about, I probably got them in text, about low iron. And should you take pills? No, you better not take any iron pills for that, because it can easily be fixed by just eating high iron food like nettle, for instance. And oh, this is funny. This was I think it was a few days ago, someone in Canada. She mentioned that I said that nettle grows everywhere. And, coming from the Netherlands, it grows everywhere, especially where you don't want it. It's considered a really bad weed, not knowing how extremely healthy it is for us. And I thought, well, it grows everywhere, so it would be easy for you to get. And she said she had never seen it in Canada. What is your experience with that? Stinging nettle.
Yeah, we have nettle here in Mexico, and I've definitely seen it when I lived in Washington State, up in Seattle. We had a lot of nettle. I didn't really see it much in Tennessee, or Texas. So I think it just depends on where you are.
And well, it does grow, I thought, everywhere, because if it grows in cold, wet
Yeah,
Netherlands, and
yeah, that
it
makes
grows in
sense.
Mexico, I think it grows in everywhere in between. The thing can be that everything is so sprayed,
Mm,
with toxins and pesticides everywhere. Even where I live, there is from the town, there's an or city, there's a small truck that comes by and it sprays way into your yard. And I'm like, I
wow.
don't want that. I have my fruit bushes and trees here, but you can't stop it. There's nothing you can do about it. So
That's
maybe that
horrible.
is why you don't see as many weeds
Yeah.
as yeah, herbs. But that was the low iron. It is there is a lot of the dark green, leafy green foods. They are high in iron,
Hmm.
and so you can take Yeah, what is it? There are actually the powdered nettle comes in capsules to make it easy on you. I just drink nettle tea. Nettle, I mix nettle with dandelion.
Nice.
It helps with blood cleansing. So I would suggest that everybody should just drink the nettle and dandelion tea, and you should be good. And I don't want to minimize the effects that it can have when you are low on iron. But it can be helped without adding iron tablets.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, another one that was asked is about the dizziness that a lot of people do get, and dizziness has to do with stagnated lymph in the head.
Mm.
So that is where the cold packs would help too. So yeah, if anybody wants, what was it? What did we say? The cold packs file, the germ file. I have another one that I feel it is, and I forgot if I mentioned that last time. Another file that is about mucus-less foods.
Yeah,
And
that'd be great.
yeah, did we talk about that last time?
I think briefly.
Okay, this is put together. I have to get it in front of me because otherwise I can't say I don't know what I'm talking about, but that's not really the case. And what I did with this file is all the foods that you can eat while you are detoxing. I put them in a green text, and all the foods that you can eat while transitioning are also very clearly laid out, and all the foods that you should stay away from because they are highly mucus forming and highly acidic, they are pointed out too. So you cannot go wrong there. I always send it to everybody. I make an what is it, a protocol for, but I want to give credit where credit should go. And the list is based on the Mucusless Diet Healing System by Professor Arnold Ehret. And it is compiled by Dr. Spira. He is a Dr. Morse practitioner, and he has a website and a group of his own. And he has a lot of great information, but he goes specifically by everything like mucusless foods. And it goes from, the ripe fruits to the dried fruits and the fruit jellies, the syrups. Actually, it even mentioned the honey as being a mucusless food. And it has a list with the raw vegetable, root, stem, starchless food. So it has a ton of information, and that should be your guide for your your whole lifestyle about what you should eat and what not. And there are baked and cooked vegetable, root, stem, and fruit that are relatively starchless or mucusless, and I still don't feel that we should eat them. We should try to stay away from the cooked foods, because I don't know how it is with you, but when I eat anything cooked, I'm getting thirsty, I'm getting tired, and I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, it's a whole experience.
And it's so different. We weren't even aware of that when we used to only eat cooked food. Like
Just
it was
tired all the time.
normal,
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And especially the tiredness and being so thirsty after a healthy, clean meal. If it can be even a green soup, but as soon as it's cooked, that happens to me. It's strange. So we know that is not helping. It's Dr. Morse calls it dead food, and I can see why he does that. It has it's low frequency. It's not helping us. Well, there's another thing that I found so interesting, and a lot of the people that I talk to experience the same, is we feel happier on all fruits.
Yeah, I mean it improves everything. Like it's the key. It's the key to it all.
It is. yeah, we just have to overcome that. All the fruit that we buy is not that great, they're not very tasty. And I'm looking here at my, I have a fig plant. It has maybe a dozen figs on it. And I'm looking at it every day. Okay, when? I want to taste my own figs and not the one from the grocery store. So, we have to do with whatever we can find on farmers markets. And I would say absolutely connect, see what you can find, because there's a website where you can locate all the farmers in your area and connect with them. Some are on farmers markets, and there are farmers markets pretty much everywhere in the United States anyway, and I think some in Canada too. But see what you can find in your area, and is willing to sell it to you. And maybe, not by the pound, but by the case, and you get better prices. It may not look so nice, and it may not be officially organic, but you can ask, what they have been using, and they will tell you. What I found is that they are happy to share with how they do things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was just answering a few questions from the chat. I had one about Dr. Morse's liver gallbladder flush, and was just asking what our thoughts were on the liver gallbladder flush.
He is not crazy about it. He feels you have to be very careful with it. If you feel that you have a need to do it only once. I do have his protocol, and his protocol for the liver gallbladder flush is not what people would expect it would be, because it does contain oil, but it is a one-time thing. Because there are people who do it, several times because they think it's helping. No, that's hurting. So, okay to do it once if you have the correct gallbladder flush, because he has it in a file and I have it too. So if you're not sure about it, then connect with me and I'll get the right one out to you.
Yeah, and then we had another one from about wisdom teeth, and if we knew anything about their removal and what the deal was with that. I responded and said, I don't know a ton, but just given the nature of the cabal and what they do in the name of wisdom teeth and the fact that they remove them from everyone, leads me to believe that we're probably not supposed to take them out. But I know people do have crowding and issues that come up, so I don't really know what the best approach is for that. But I don't have any doubt that God created us in the way that we're supposed to be, so we shouldn't be removing things just because. So that's kind of my take there. I don't know if you had any more insight on the wisdom teeth.
Well, not much, only than my own ideas, and that is, first, why do they call it wisdom teeth?
Right.
That's a big one. I want to know, why is it wisdom teeth? Even back in the 50s, they were already removing them. So we cannot say it's something they've been doing the last years. I do not remember my wisdom teeth were taken out. I think I have them all. I don't know if they're good or bad. They were never bothering me. I had problems with other parts of my teeth, but then again, if you're highly acidic, you will have problems with your gums and with your teeth.
Right.
So that's unfortunately always the case. And sometimes you wonder, how do people do that when they eat a bad diet and they seemingly have these nice teeth? I haven't figured that out yet.
Susan says that crowding of the teeth is caused by mouth breathing and stress. So that can make sense, as we're just in such a disoriented state that we can't take on these wisdom teeth. And maybe that's why they're called wisdom teeth, because if we're not able to accept them, then we need to seek more wisdom. Who knows?
That's actually interesting. Because breathing, if we, when Charlie speaks about that, it's one of the most important things, actually, of your health, together with the fruit. The breathing is a big, big part of it. If you do it wrong, it can cause all kinds of problems. I've had breathing issues until, well, my whole life. It was since my birth. And No, I cannot say my whole life. That's not the case. But until I was about 20, all the pictures that I look at, it's like I have my mouth kind of open. This
Mm,
looks crazy. Just breathe through your nose and keep your mouth closed. So
mm,
I forced myself to do that, and then it was not a problem at all. But it had to do, with tonsils. My tonsils were taken out,
mm.
and yeah, shouldn't, but happens.
Right. All right. Well, that's our hour. That's our weekly hour.
Oh yeah.
Did you have anything you wanted to close with?
Um. Well, actually, I think I don't know. I love to connect with people. I am forever grateful with whomever I connect with because they're all such beautiful souls. And
Mm,
I feel so very blessed that I can spend sometimes even 2 to 3 hours with people and get them going on that journey. And I'm happy to do that. And I think that I don't know if anybody is aware of that because people think that I am too busy. Yeah, I'm busy, but I'm never too busy. I'll make sure of that. And if you want to connect with me and you feel like, oh, I cannot afford that, yes, you can. You can always afford me because I work for donations. And I'm happy to do that. My whole life, I hated to ask for the money, and now it's like given to me. So
mm.
it's the beauty of how everything works.
Yep. When it's that shifting from being a debtor to a creditor, when we acknowledge that we are creditors and that we can give abundantly. So Toni giving her time and giving abundantly and trusting that God will provide and that it will be taken care of. And then those who are able to provide financially for that time become that creditor and give abundantly. And those who are not able to give financially in that time find other ways to give. That's why I always ask people whenever they do one-on-ones with me or whenever is, just honor the energetic exchange in some way and pay it forward if you can't reciprocate. If you're not donating financially, that's perfectly okay. But make sure to pay it forward. They do some active service for someone else and make sure to continue that energy going forward, and that way we can continue being that lighthouse and spreading that as far and as wide as possible. So thank you for your service, Toni. Thank you for all that you do. You truly do have a heart of gold, and you are so service oriented, and we see it. So thank you.
I have one comment that was that we're going to put on a T-shirt. We have a design now for the Freak Sense family T-shirt on Freak Sense World. On the back, I was thinking, what can we put there? And Colleen mentioned one, and I thought, you know what? What we need is "Be the Light" on the back
Mm,
of the T-shirt, and I think that is what I want to end with for everybody: be the
beautiful.
light.
Beautiful. Yeah, be it. I love it. All right, guys. Well, thank you all for being here today. Thank you, Toni. I love you, Toni. I love you, everybody else. And we will talk to you next time.
Thank you all.